I think we're live. All right. This is it. For those of you watching this after the fact, when it's just recorded and on YouTube, cold turkey, I am going to be making a transforming butterfly. This is one of those harebrained ideas that I had to create like a caterpillar that flips inside out into a cocoon, and then that flips inside out like a sock to reveal the butterfly. I have no idea if this is going to work. So at the end of this stream, we'll either have an incredible transforming toy, another toy. I don't know. The ideas I have are always silly and superfluous. They're my favorite kind. But, you know, maybe we'll have something that works, or maybe we'll have a pile of failed felt and learn a bunch of things for the next time I have a harebrained idea. So it's going to be fun. I am going to start sketching it up to see if I can figure out how that is even going to work. And I've got some ideas in my head, but we'll see how this goes. And yeah, pens, markers. I also have been trying to figure out what kind of butterfly I want to base this on. And I have this chart of a bunch of types of butterflies that I pulled out. And I don't know what I did with it. Right here. So check it out. Lots and lots of different types of butterflies. So, you know, maybe one of those will work out. Put that up for inspiration and go to town. I keep moving my supplies on myself. Go figure. All right, so there's going to be the butterfly. Yep, something like that. And there's going to be a caterpillar, which I think is going to have to be pretty plump, because when the caterpillar is showing, and the cocoon for that matter, everything is inside of it. And it'll have this sort of opening at the bottom that flips inside out to make the cocoon. Something like that. So when the butterfly is revealed, the cocoon and the caterpillar are both inside it, inside the body of the butterfly. So that part's going to be a little chunky, but I think the wings are going to have to be thinner so that they don't take up too much space. It's not going to need any stuffing, because everything is stuffing everything else, depending which way it's facing. For the cocoon, I think this will have to be where it transforms into the butterfly. Like the whole butterfly is inside that cocoon there, but then this will also have that opening on the side for where it flips into the caterpillar. So these two are the same right here. And then for the butterfly that flips inside out, that larger end, do I want to put that up toward the head or down by the tail? I don't know. It is the larger end, and typically, I mean, butterflies don't really have large abdomens, but I could maybe decorate the head to have like big googly eyes or something cutesy like that. It's definitely not going to be to proportion. There's no way that's going to be possible. So that will just have to be the opening. So these two are related. Okay. So the caterpillar doesn't need an opening on one end, only the slit at the bottom. It's going to go up inside there, but then on that end, then the butterfly flips that way. So the caterpillar will take up half of the space of the cocoon when it's tucked in, and the butterfly will take up the other half of the space. So this is half butterfly and half caterpillar. When the caterpillar is closed, this is, let's see, the butterfly is inside the cocoon. So inside the caterpillar is the cocoon right here, and then inside that is the butterfly. Caterpillar and cocoon. I think I'm going to start working on those two, and then the butterfly will connect, and we'll see if that works out. So, caterpillar. Go through my hoard of felt over here. Let's see what color we want to make this caterpillar. I like that kind of classic green. And then I've got some maybe lighter accents. There's some darker colors here. Whoop. And this sort of medium green. Wow. Okay, I know I have a lot of felt, but I wasn't expecting to have that many shades of green right off the bat. So let's see. I'm going to pull up a picture. That will load in a minute. Okay. Caterpillar, caterpillar, caterpillar. I like this one. I think this is a good caterpillar color. We'll go with that. And I definitely have more of that color, more than some of the others. So let's see. Say hi, guys. Whoop. Helps if you hold still. Just a moment. Cutting this up. The first cut is always the most nerve-wracking, I have to say. Like, I can do this. I've done this before. I've never done this before. I've done things like this before, a lot. I get these harebrained ideas on a regular basis. Okay, so to get the caterpillar to kind of bunch one way and the other, I'm going to have to cut these pieces at an angle. And I'm guessing it's probably going to have to be about that big around to be able to stuff everything else in there when it's all put together. Yeah. So plus a bit of seam allowance. I probably just need to cut off that little bit there. So cut these at angles. Rotary, please. And since this is basically a prototype, I'm kind of just eyeballing. Okay, so the seam is the opening at the bottom. Don't wave your rotary cutter around with the safety off. That's a bad idea. Even better idea. Don't wave your rotary cutter around. The seam is the opening at the bottom. So I can cut every other piece to be one that's wider in the middle versus wider on the edges. And I am going to just freeform that as well. I think the trickiest parts will probably be like the end caps, so to speak. Just getting those to be nice and round and caterpillarish. Okay, so you can see I alternated cuts so that I have some that are wider in the middle versus wider on the edges. And I know this is green on top of green right now. We will be switching to another color soon. So I am going to get the sewing machine, thread it up, and stitch these together and see what kind of shape we have and if it's even working. So here goes nothing. This is literally how I do it. Every idea I have, just, okay, let's try it. See if that's even a thing. Does it work? I don't know. Half the time it does. The other half of the time, I just end up discovering some other thing that's cool, and then I get even more ideas and ways to be, you know, spending my time. But get up there. I don't think my sewing machine is even plugged in yet. Got this handy. There we go. Bring you up. Plug you in. And what was that? Okay, I'm doing everything in white thread because, again, prototype, and if I decide the thread color bothers me, I'll switch to something else. So, no big deal. I am going to line these up and stitch them together across this line. Make sure they're actually overlapping there. And just let it be kind of funny and organic. And set it to a straight stitch. Over here. Okay. And then, so see how it like starts creating a sort of bend a little bit already. And then I'm going to do the same thing, turn it inside out, but move this one out of the way so that I can get this other guy lined up instead. And stitch that one. I'm not bothering to pin any of this either. As long as the edges of the felt are lined up as I'm stitching, it works. Back stitch. Line it up again. I freehanded all of these, so the cuts are all different shapes and things. Okay, so now we have a couple of those. And it'll come together like so. Kind of like a armadillo shape. Kind of fun. Now I am going to switch to the, I guess, concave, convex. I'm not sure which is which in this instance. It's not like a 3D. I mean, felt is technically 3D, but you know what I mean. We're kind of working in 2D. So I think this is a good time to switch to the other curve. And I may need to cut some more of those pieces. I think I'd like 2 of these on the ends. It'll just be this big fat caterpillar. And we'll put little legs on it, like 6 in the front and 6 in the back, kind of like an inchworm or something. This is fun. Okay. The first cut has been made. It's all uphill from here. Okay, I'm switching direction though, so I need to be conscious of which side I'm stitching where. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And line this up so it's kind of ruffled on one side. You see all this extra material. Definitely going to have to stop every so often to make sure it's still where I want it to be. Yes, it's working. Okay. Do another one of those on the other side. Sweet. And then 2 more. I think that'll be the basis of our caterpillar already. So if you're on that side, then I need the other one on this side. Okay. Okay. This is kind of a funny shape. I love the way shaping seams and pattern pieces does so much in the shape of just everything, really. But like, it almost kind of looks like a knee pad right now. If you leave it open and then when you curve it, you know, like that. Okay. Eyeball this again. Cut you down to size and dip in these sides just a little. Okay. Safety on. One of you is an actual piece. Good over here. Okay. All right. So I have a slightly thicker piece in the middle on this side than that side. So I'm going to make sure I put my thinner one over there. There we go. And the thicker one over here, just to kind of keep that generally balanced, even though there's no real pattern for this or anything. 100% winging it. Line it up again. Well, that last seam was sure lucky because I just ran out of bobbin thread. So we get to wind it up again. Thread it up through here. Give it a nice tail, as long as it'll stay in there. Wind you up. And I do this every time, threading through one of the holes in the bobbin like 5 times every time I wind a bobbin, because I use my hands to go thread something else and then forget. Okay, here we go. 3rd time's a charm. And you're still stuck. That's fine. You're good. Almost there. Hi guys. How's it going? Can you hear me over the machine? Feel free to leave a comment, say hey. I can see you guys talking over here. If you have ideas or questions, I would love to hear from you. Let me know. I ran out of thread right at the end of my last theme on this guy, so we're getting the old Miss McKenna here all threaded up. And then I'll be right back to constructing this thing. All right, so far I have these pieces put together. This is going to be a caterpillar that will flip inside out into a cocoon that will flip inside out the other way like a sock to be a butterfly. I have no idea if this is going to work. Never made anything like this before, but that's exactly why I thought it would be fun to do with all you guys and just kind of see what happens. This is a pretty excellent example, snapshot of my creative process. I have these harebrained ideas and then I just go to town. So here we are. Okay. The way that I cut these pieces, hey, how's it going? The way that I cut these pieces is so that some of them are, I guess, concave and then others are convex, so that when the caterpillar rolls around, it'll be kind of like squidgy, like a caterpillar, you know, like that. Hopefully, again, I've never done this before. I'm excited to see it come to life too. Did I mention I've never done this before? So, all right, I wasn't going to trim these till the end, but they are starting to get in the way. So, excess thread. You have been evicted. Here we go. I'm going to add one more on each side of these kind of concave pieces. I hope I have that right. Which one is concave versus convex? Do you know? It is definitely all coming straight out of my head. Right out of my head right now. I've done up a sketch first, right there. That's just the very, very basic idea of a butterfly, a caterpillar, and cocoon. And you can kind of see, like, there's going to be an opening on the bottom of the cocoon and the caterpillar so that they flip inside out from each other. And then when it's a cocoon, there's also an opening on one end where the butterfly pops out. So the butterfly has to have an opening on one end, and then it all kind of connects. So when the cocoon is closed, the butterfly is taking up half of it, and the caterpillar is tucked up on the other half lengthwise. When the caterpillar is showing on the outside, I think it's kind of like the cocoon is connected over here, but then the butterfly is wrapped around in between the caterpillar and the cocoon, if that makes sense. I really have no idea if this is going to work or not, but it seems like fun. So, yeah. Ooh, convex versus concave. Here we go. Concave is an adjective that describes a surface that curves inward. Okay, so these guys are concave. Convex describes a surface that curves outward or is thicker in the middle. So convex. Convex pieces toward the middle because it makes it curve up and out. Concave pieces on the ends to do the opposite. Cool. Thank you, Gabriel. All right, got two pieces on that side, got one more on the other side, and then I'll start making those end caps so that we can start to figure out where that inside is going to be. This is the basic caterpillar. I'm almost wondering if I should do the cocoon first, since it'll need to be attached on both ends. Definitely going to be some hand stitching in here to get into those awkward tiny places, but for now I can put this and set it up. I'm liking the shape a lot. So far, so good. So that's promising. Hopefully I made it just big enough that, there, you can live there for a minute. Just big enough that the cocoon and everything will fit in there, hopefully. So cocoon, definitely some kind of brownish color. We've got these browns, we've got those browns, we've got really, really dark brown, we've got tan, not so much. One of these for sure. Okay. The body of the butterfly will probably be one of these darker shades of brown. So the cocoon, I think, should be somewhere in the middle. I think I'm going to go with this guy. Hey, Mikio! Welcome. I'm glad you made it. All right. So far, I have gotten a bit of the caterpillar done. This is going to be a caterpillar that turns into a cocoon, that turns into a butterfly, and I have no idea if it's going to work, but we'll find out. Okay, cocoon, I think, is going to be very much the same construction as the caterpillar, but it's generally kind of tapered, like a bulk on one end and more tapered on the other end. So to get that kind of shape, you know, the cocoon probably doesn't need to be quite as piecey as the caterpillar. You rushed home. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Kind of tapered cone shape. Not super tapered, but just a little bit. And then the cap is kind of bulbousy. This one is tricky. Very tricky. I'm just going to have to cut in and try something, and maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. You can't forget that on one side, there is going to be an opening. At the larger end is definitely an opening. So I guess that simplifies it a little bit. I don't need to create that kind of like button cap end at the top. All right. I'm making a butterfly, sort of like a caterpillar that flips into a cocoon that flips the other way like a sock to be a butterfly. And I have no idea if it's going to work. I know I've probably said that like 12 times. I'm just really excited to try it and see what happens. So let's see. Yeah, definitely a cone. Okay, so yeah, let's do this. All right, I'm going to leave a bigger square at the bottom and then taper this right out to be the top of the cone. So this bottom end will, yeah, come up like that so that it's a little bit bigger. And I might need to put in another piece at some point there. Okay, so I'm taking this like beaker flask. This is a flask, right? Beakers have straight sides. Yeah, pretty sure. And I'm going to pinch the corners and stitch them a little bit to create a rounder shape at the end. So I'm just stitching those right in. On both of these sides, just a little bit. It's like a little tack on the corner. Got a hummingbird on my feeder again. like that. Just a little bit rounder there. And then these ends, so that square is more rounded already, and then these ones I'll bring up even higher, right? And then I'm definitely going to need to bring in another piece right there. That's okay, because it's going to have that opening on one end anyway. And cocoons tend to kind of have that like overlapping feel to them. I don't know if that's because of the wings that you can see inside as they're forming or not, but it seems that way. So trim these guys up. Yeah, that should be good. So I'm pretending like these edges of the squares here are connecting separately, even though this piece is, you know, already still connected. So I'm going to be stitching into the side of that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll show you in a minute. I love those frog prints things. I know what you're talking about. IKEA frog prints. I remember the first time that I saw those, I was frankly surprised that they could fit so much of one inside the other body. But if you think about it, the frog and prints both have really spindly, like thin limbs, you know, so they don't take up a whole lot of space whether they're inside or out. And then the body itself seems plusher because of the double face. It's like the frog is what's stuffing the prints and the prints is what's stuffing the frog. So you get away with more that way, seems like. They have those flip dresses too, or like Cinderella from the rags into the ball gown, and like her skirt all around her flips up, and then what was like the rags side of her with her hands and head and everything flips upside down so that the ball gown's on the other side, and then her other head and arms like comes out of her skirt. It's really funny. That's another fun way to flip things. I've never seen one that flips 3 different ways before. So like, I know that the one with 2 of them works, but I'm not sure how this is gonna work mechanically. Like, I can see it in my head. I know it's possible. It's just a matter of figuring out how. Okay. This is not really working quite the way I would have liked. And now I know that. You can see where I tacked all 4 of those corners up there. And then it flips inside out to connect to the rest of the cone. And I'm not seeing any obvious connection there for that to conify. So I'm going to cut this off. Still going to use it, but as a separate piece. So this is one end, and I kind of want these to be a little steeper. So I'm going to restitch those so that it connects in the right place this time. And the other one from where it was originally connected to the rest of the cone. Hey, Lorhand, how's it going? Okay, flip that inside out again. That's better. That's like, it looks very square right now, but when it's connected to something round, it will be, I don't know, like play tricks on your eyes, basically. So I'm not too worried about making that perfectly round. I think this will work really well. So pretty good. I'm doing great. I'm having fun. I am making something that I've never made before, and I have no idea if it'll work. And this is kind of my happy place. So I'm doing pretty well. Oh, thank you, Mikio. It's good to have you guys here. Having fun. I have moved on from the caterpillar portion for the moment into the cocoon portion. I figure those are the main flipping things, and then I'll figure out how the butterfly fits into the cocoon. I think I'm going to need another one of these. Yeah, that covers about half the caterpillar, so I'm definitely going to need more of that. So freehand these bits and pieces. I'm just going to cut another one. Like so. Although it would help, yeah, if the rotary is tight. Every time the blade gets loose, it starts skipping portions and not really cutting properly. I used to just replace the blade because I thought it was dull, and I started noticing it was happening way too soon. And no, it's the little nut on one side that keeps it tight. They still get dull after a while, but not as quickly as I thought they were. Yeah, I'm making a butterfly. It's like, you know, Lucas mentioned like the frog into a prince kind of things they have at IKEA that flip back and forth inside out. Or if you've seen those like transformation dolls, like poor working maid Cinderella, and then the skirt flips and she's in a ball gown. It's kind of like one of those, but instead of flipping just 2 ways, it's going to go 3 different ways. So yeah, we'll see if that actually works out. I'm hopeful. It'll be interesting. So cocoon. Sort of cone shape, needs to fit the caterpillar. One side of this has to be an opening for the caterpillar to fit into. Okay, so I'm going to unclip this so we can, it needs to be roughly that wide. I think if the caterpillar and the cocoon are about the same width, and then I stitch them together and flip it the other way around so that it goes both ways like that, I think that should work. I think. I'm probably going to have to untaper the cocoon a little bit so it isn't quite so wide on the land. Diving right in. Usually, if you're going to trim something, you should deliberate twice as long because you can't just reconnect it. But we're just winging it today. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm stitching these sides together. And then this cap, is that about, it is definitely wider. So same on the bottom, a little bigger on top. I think it'll just be a little extra stuffing. Maybe I'll trim a little bit, just a little. Level out those sides anyway. Hey, Brissy girl. Hey, Hannah. Welcome, guys. Okay, here we go. Wait a second. Okay, if I attach both of these together and then flip them inside out, that isn't actually going to create an opening. But once they are connected that way, those nice seamed edges will create the opening, and then I can stitch on the end caps to those so that it's closed in that way. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, so I need to stitch these together. All right. So line this up on one side. I love how this looks like nature armor on one side, like the pieces kind of alternate, like what is it again? Convex and concave, so that when it's all folded up, it kind of like, you know, goes different ways. But I love the pattern that it has on the inside of that. Get these all lined up. Lots of really funky, jagged edges on these. I'm freehanding all of the cuts and all of the seams and just kind of winging it. So every time I stitch them together, I'm going a little slower than I usually do to make sure that they all really line up. This is out of felt. This is my ginormous collection of colors. It's like a paint box of instant material. I love working with felt, constructing things like this, because it comes together so quickly and you don't have to worry so much about structure, getting it to stand up or have that kind of plusher feel, you know? So it makes it a lot easier that way. Getting off track there. Hold on, stay up. And there we go. Okay. All right, so one side, and then I need to do the other. And then I think I'm going to trim a little of the excess off of the seams, not too close, because felt stretches quite a bit and you can get large holes and then it just tears right through. Because, you know, the way the fiber is put together, it isn't woven, it's just matted. So if you stretch it, it can come apart. You don't want to trim too much, but I also don't want any excess bulk inside the pieces, because it's 3 different things that need to live in the same space. It like defies the laws of physics a little bit. Oh man. Hey Bernie, welcome. Well, cool. I'm glad you could stop by at all. It's good to see you. Here. All right, this is working out really well so far. This is already totally lined up. That is sheer serendipity. And I am really excited that it's lined up that much already. Oh man, the whole crew is here. Tell me about your crew, Mikyo. What do you guys do? Just like hang out, craft together, chilling? Okay, so cocoon one way, and then it'll flip inside out to be the caterpillar. This is working. Okay. Now, the end caps. I should really do the caterpillar first, because that will set like the max capacity of the whole thing. The caterpillar is the one that's the most closed. And so then I'll know how much I can actually afford to stuff in there. So if I close that up, but the cocoon is still open, then I can construct the butterfly, stuff it inside, and hand stitch that together. I think. I'm not sure, but I think that's how it'll work. The worst thing that could possibly happen is I break out the seam rippers. So yeah, we're going for it. All right, so switching back to green. I think I used up that whole sheet. Yeah, we got more. We got lots more. Okay. Green. And I did cut off a little bit of the sides on this, so I'm going to mark. There we go. Yeah, about 3 inches off the side of this. To make the end caps, though, I might need more room Okay, hold on. Breaking out the sketchboard again. Okay. Let's see. Did I put them away or not? I don't see green here. All right. Well, so I have these pieces, and this is open. The end caps need to be rounded, and then I'll give it little legs and little eyes. But these parts need to be the circumference of just the caterpillar part. So the whole circumference of this. This is what happens when you just make new things. There isn't enough terminology to really talk about what's going on. So I make up a lot of words like thingamabob and majigget. All right. Okay. So I'm going to flip this for a second so I can measure it. We want this to work out to just over 7. Nope. Okay, the seam allowance is not going to be included in this. 7 on the dot. Well, that's convenient. 7 inches specifically. I am working in imperial because, you know, I'm in America. I'm in the desert. Oh my goodness. A replica of a con outfit bonmoire. Who made that? That sounds exciting. I've missed the last few of Vaughn's live streams the past couple of weeks, and I feel like I am having Vaughn withdrawals. I really hope I make it tomorrow. I hope she does one. Oh, it'll be so good. Okay. 7 inches. So if I cut a square or an octagon or something, bye Taria, one of those, I don't know, let me know sometime. I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, 7 inches. 7 inches, 7 inches, 7 inches. If I, oh, I should move the sketchboard. Don't want to be cutting on that. Wait. Okay. I am going to mark it out. I am just going to literally take the tape, 7 inches, turn that into a circle, clip it, and mark it. That'll work. Close enough. Totally professional. Over here. Okay. Like that, like that, like that. All the way around. That'll do. Okay. About like that. So if I cut out the first one, I can just use that to mark the next. Okay. So I'm going to make this like a square. And then trim those ends so it's more like an octagon. I mean, a lot more like an octagon. It literally will have 8 sides. That's basically an octagon. Yeah. And then I can use that inner circle marking to know where the ends of my darts can go, because I don't want it to come any tighter than that circumference. And I'm just going to put in darts everywhere that I left a point around the octagon. The rocket on the fridge, yeah. My son made the blue rocket and the constellations back there. My studio is my living room. It's convenient. When I have ideas in the middle of the night, I can just come out here and do them. Tarja, right the first time. I think that's the one I said first. Tarja. It does roll off the tongue nicely. Okay, got 7 to go. Let go. I'm finished with you, Stitch. Thank you. And this one. And you. Thinner fabric for the wings so they don't take up as much space in between the layers. That is a good idea, because I'm still formulating in my head how I'm going to make the wings. Like, I have the usual, I keep coming back to a monarch. I don't know if that's my favorite butterfly or not, but I keep thinking monarch. But black and orange and white, like they're double thick wings, and that's a lot of bulk in there. So, I mean, maybe if I used just the white felt and then drew the rest of it on, that would take up a lot less space. But I also don't want the wings to be too floppy so that when the butterfly is out, you know, it still looks like a butterfly. I have this this reference. This is from, oh, what is it called? Butterfly Wonderland here in Arizona. They have this butterfly conservatorium, this huge room full of tons and tons of butterflies. And this is literally just their brochure or part of it. And I love it. So I've just hung on to that and had it hanging around my house. Just, you know, various places. It was on the door for a while, on the fridge, like in my room, all over the place because I just loved butterflies. So yeah. How long have I had the lovely logo thing up to? Oh, in this live stream, it's been there the whole time. If you mean how long have I had it in general, I sketched that up, I want to say months ago. I don't know how many months ago. I have no idea. But that was a logo idea that I had and executed. I think that's probably the 12th iteration of this. The idea is just like a planet of yarn being knitted by like an astronaut in space with knitting needles, and that's like the connection back to Earth is just crafting, you know? It was just an idea I had, and it turned out better than I was expecting, so I hung on to it. See ya. Deuces. I love that. Deuces, like two, like peace. I thought that was so funny the first time I heard it. I was trying to figure out what it meant for the longest time, and now that I know, it's like so obvious, but it's just really funny, like layers of communication, you know? It's cool. Deuces. That's cute. I love that. And two more to go. Okay, two more. Almost there. And then I get to do it again. And I forgot to trace it first. So that'll be fun. Oh man. This one, and do you ever have an idea and then get impatient while you're putting it together? Like, I want to see it, but you have to actually do it to be able to see it. Like, is it going to work? Anticipation. Okay. That's one side. I'm going to trim all this floofity stuff. secret club. Shh, I won't tell that. I won't tell anybody. I did see live stream. Lore Hand Creations. So you're Taria. What do you do live streams about? I need to tune into that sometime. I want to see. You can tell me about it next time too. I'll look you up since I see you here now. Okay, we got an end cap. It's a little flat. Not really super round, but one of the cool things about felt is the way it stretches. Definitely. I would love that, Mikio. Yeah, that would be good. Thank you. Okay. You can stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. Just stuff your thumbs in and push it around. And then it's a little rounder. A little bit, not a lot, but enough. All right. This gets stitched onto just the green portion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the other side, put this together, stitch it, and then just kind of let it roll so that it all comes together, and then I can flip that the other way and it'll hold everything together like that. So before I do that, however, I'm going to check with my handy measurement, make sure that actually turned out the way it was supposed to, and it did. Kind of difficult to really, you get the idea. I'm using a tape measure, but this still constitutes eyeballing it. Okay. Pull you up here. Here we go. Definitely need to make sure the cocoon stays out of the way while I put this part in. The layers are getting a lot thicker now. Okay. I want to go all the way up to the edge of the caterpillar to make sure that it really stays closed right there. So reinforce it, pull you up. Here we go. And here. Get out of there. You get a butterfly still. You're not allowed to be tucked down. Okay. Over here, here. And really tight quarters. It's like a tiny bit at a time and then reposition and reposition over and over again. Really tricky. Okay. Almost to the other side. And right there. You ready? Ta-da! It's the end of a caterpillar. The end of an era. The end of a caterpillar. It's not a thing. It's not a thing, guys. Like so. Squishy little caterpillar. That'll do. I like it. Okay. All right. And then when it flips the other way, this part of the cocoon will come out here. Yeah. Cool. All right. Got to do it again. So, same process as before, but this time I think I'm going to make the darts curve a little more, like come in so that it's extra curvy. And then this flatter end, I can put some eyes on that to give it more shape and interest. And then its little back end will be the rounder of the two. I love this chalk pen. I got this very recently because I was kind of hacking it, but then chalk on my fingers would get everywhere. And the marks aren't really useful if they get lost in a sea of other marks. And, you know, chalk comes out, so that's not an issue, but the lines are only really worthwhile if they tell you what you need to know. Okay, making up this other cap. And then we got to figure out the end cap to the cocoon. I can probably do exactly the same thing for one of the ends on the cocoon, and then the other side, that's where things really start getting tricky. We'll make the butterfly, stuff it in there, and see how that's going to work. Because this whole other critter needs to live in there. Okay. To start with an octagon of sorts, it's kind of like a dilapidated double rhombus, really. But it's okay, because I'm going to stitch into it anyway. All right. I'm not even going to cut you this time. Ha ha! Take that. Maybe? Yeah, we can do this. Nice, Bernie. My phone does that a lot. Battery's dying. Or maybe laptop. I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Plugging in. Every time my phone dies, I think, oh, Tesla. Because he had that whole wireless power thing figured out, and then it just disappeared. Like Tesla, like Nikola Tesla, not like Elon Musk cars and SpaceX and stuff, but another close-up. Yeah, definitely. I'm assuming you mean this funny contraption right here. This is the cocoon that'll be stuffed inside. And this is the caterpillar that will be on the outside. And this will stuff a little better when the end caps are connected. Hopefully, presumably, like that. Caterpillar. So it'll be, yeah, like that. We'll see you later, Hannah. Sweet dreams. Let's see. Oh, almost missed one. You can kind of see this crazy mess too as I go. Like that's the outside, and then it'll flip, and that's what creates the kind of concave shape. So one side is super concave and the rest of it is just flat. It all looks like a crazy mess in this part of the process, no matter what. Like teeny tiny little darts and things are just kind of funny like that. See you later. Get you out of the way. I'll have to experiment with every time I live stream, I'll see if I can get you guys a different angle. Figure out what works and what times, you know. I'm open to suggestions. If you have like a time when you'd really like to come in and see what's going on, so let me know. Giving up caffeine is hard. I had to do that recently too. I still get decaf, even though that's like a whole other kind of terrible, but coffee's just too good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there you are. My points on this one were not as obvious as on the first end cap. I don't know why. I think I just made the angles more shallow, more obtuse, really. And 3 more. And 2 more. One more, right? Yes. They're extra wonky this time. Okay, here we go. Guys, it's fine. This is on purpose. It's a caterpillar. They're just weird and natural. It's fine. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah. Check it out. It's good. This is a good one. It's already rounder. And I mean, I already like stretched the end, but not as much as the first one. And it's like, that's way better. Okay, so same thing as before. I am attaching it, starting at one end of just the caterpillar, and I'm going to stitch and roll and stitch and roll all the way around until it connects all the way on this side. And then we can flip it inside out. And then the caterpillar will be done. Holy crap. Well, the basic structure of it will. I'm still going to add legs and some eyes, but that's about it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to attach this. Get this on. This bulky bit is definitely the trickiest. Oh my goodness. In there? Okay. And reposition. Reposition. Sounds like that tradition song from Fiddler on the Roof. Is that copyrighted? Am I allowed to hum that? I don't know. Okay. Oh my goodness, Bernie, that is hardcore. I'm glad you're still here. That's a lot of coffee. Man. Coffee is really that good, though. It's so good. The whole world is obsessed with it. I mean, there must be something to that. Oh my goodness. Oh, I really shouldn't look away from the sewing machine while I'm sewing. When I was, I don't know, probably 14, I actually put a sewing needle straight through my fingernail. I was sewing and somebody, oh, it was this one. I was sewing and somebody called me from across the house and I'm just like, yeah, without even thinking. I stopped sewing and turned back. I'm like, huh, that doesn't look right. And so I took the needle out and I think it took a full 2 minutes for the shock to wear off enough that it actually hurt like the dickens. Like that hurt so much. There are so many nerve endings in your fingers. Oh my goodness. That was crazy. So you'd think I'd know better not to look away from the machine. Apparently not. And there, and are you still stitching? I just refilled the bobbin. You should be fine. All right. Nope. You got a little ways to go. You tricked me. Gotta get that connected. Oh. Super tight quarters. Okay. This is getting really tricky. Look at this thing. If I hadn't told you what I was making, what would you guess this is? Like a Ninja Turtle gone wrong? It looks so wonky right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Get in there. Okay, that's better. All right, lots and lots of threads. Just kind of. And yeah, we'll worry about the rest of that later. Okay. Oh, this is getting good. Okay. Caterpillar. It's just been disemboweled. Tuck that back in there. Oh man. A hand puppet? I mean, that's not too far off, right? Guess it can't be that bad. It's a caterpillar! This is already working better than I thought it would the first time. Like, I'll be honest, like, it's not the most incredible looking thing ever, but like, it looks like a caterpillar. That's pretty cool. It's pretty good. I kind of want to get some eyes on there now. Yeah. Maybe later. We'll use fabric glue or hot glue or something for that instead. I should get the hot glue gun set up. Yep. That's going to come in handy. You can live here for now. And we'll put you there. And turn it on. Okay. Hopefully I remember that's plugged in and working. Now that I've said that, I'm sure I'll remember. Feel free to remind me. Okay, so caterpillar's good. And cocoon, let's flip you the other way out. Have you guys seen Galaxy Quest? You know the part where they're like beaming people up and they do that like crazy alien like pig turkey thing? He's like, it turned inside out and exploded. I don't know why I think that's so funny. Every time I think of it, it's like, that's hilarious. Okay, so when it's inside out like this, here's a pretty good idea. It's like a fairy vampire's coffin or something. Yeah. So one end needs an end cap, and this is like the sort of tapered end down here. And I had, what did I do with it? Oh, here we go. Okay, this is why I have a little desktop trash can so that I don't get so confused. There we go. Okay. Yes. All right. So this guy. And this should be the same. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. So I need to flip this whole thing the other way around. Like so. And you can see the taper. This is the smaller end. So this is where the other end cap needs to go. And I can stitch it all right in there. So I'm just going to tuck it into this hole. And stitch all of that in place. And this time, this little extra bit of the green cap is going to connect to the little extra bit of the cocoon cap. So it's kind of tough to see right now, but maybe if I take it out, you can see there's extra space right there. And the cap of the cocoon is going to overlap that, so they'll be connected. Thank you. It actually looks like a caterpillar. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe I should have been, because that's like the whole point, but I don't know. I love doing this. Like, seriously, this is my happy place. Just making things and figuring it out. So much fun. Okay. This one is already giving me a hard time. I might have to pin this one. Just a little. Stay put. Get up there. Maybe. Is that gonna, are you gonna, oh, is it gonna go up right? We can do this. Yeah. Now we'll just wing it. We'll wing it. It's good. We've won it so far. Okay. So bring you up in here and stitch away. Stitch away, stitch away. Okay. Ah! Don't go over there. You're gonna stay. No, stay put. Boy, I thought the caterpillar end caps were tricky. This is crazy. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna check something. Is this okay? It's connected. And then you need to stick together. You are travel buddies. Okay, now at this point, even though I know that I want to connect these parts in the middle, I can't just continue stitching around that part. I have to stop, remove it, and then re-thread it under the foot of the machine to stitch that last part, because otherwise I'm going to be stitching more of the caterpillar than I actually want connected there. So you got to stop and take it out. So you can see it's all connected up to these points, and then this is still open. Come here. Open in the middle, right there. But if I stitch straight over, then it'll take all of this, and then when it's turned inside out, it would be stuck like that, instead of being open like that. I'm glad I remembered that. There have definitely been projects where that same element was at play, and I did not remember to stop and rethread it, so this is good. All right, bringing these together, pushing everything else back out of the way. There's something like 8 layers of felt on each of the sides of this, and luckily I don't really need to stitch through that, but I've stitched denim on this thing before. It can handle quite a bit. It's a sturdy machine. It's a 70s Kenmore, all metal body, and I love it. I love this machine. Okay, you gotta keep going. Don't quit on the nail. Okay. Here we go. Second level reveal. Okay. There's the caterpillar, and there's the cocoon, living harmoniously side by side. Yeah, end caps, like so. And then this opening right here is the only thing that I'll really have to work with to get the butterfly in there. and to make sure that that's all working. So before I can close up any of that or figure out exactly how the cocoon is going to close, we get to make the butterfly. However, I do need to know that the butterfly can all fit in this space with the caterpillar tucked up in there and still make sense. I also need to know that the butterfly can live in between the cocoon and the caterpillar and have the caterpillar still make sense. I think I might have to stitch on like some kind of button closure on this for the caterpillar just to keep all of that tucked in, maybe, even if it's just one in the middle, because a lot of that brown from the cocoon likes to push out at the bottom unless I'm like really holding it in there. And this is intended as kind of a teaching tool. My son is going to be learning about butterflies in school next. And so I had this idea because his teacher gets so into the curriculum and the lessons and things that she puts together for the kids, and butterflies and their life cycle is the next one. And so I had this idea from just watching her wax poetic about the life cycle of butterflies and how excited she was. It's just like, wouldn't it be so cool if you had a teaching element that did all of those transformations? And so this is the idea that I had in my head from that. So butterfly, when it flips inside out like this to the cocoon, the next step is the butterfly, and it's going to flip the whole thing inside out like this. This will become the body, the inside of the body of the butterfly with the wings sticking out. In order to get the butterfly to flip inside out that way with all the bulk of the wings and everything, I think I'm going to have to tack the ends of both of those so that they pull each other. And I might even need to have some kind of ribbon or something that you can pull to get it to go one way or the other. Maybe the antennae. There we go. Plural of antennas, antennae. The antennae could be that kind of pull tab thing, maybe, to get it to do that. I don't know. See you, Bernie. Or a zipper. A zipper. Do I have a zipper that size? I might. That could work. That would be faster for teaching and so on than a button anyway. A zipper would be good. Especially if it has pulls on both sides, so you could zip up, whoop, going down. So that you could zip up the caterpillar on one side, flip it, zip it again, and then that might even help the transformation into a butterfly because it would stabilize the whole structure so that only the things that you want flipping inside out are flipping inside out. Otherwise, the stuffings of the butterfly body could get kind of funny. I think, I don't know, that's how I'm picturing it in my head. I don't know. Yeah, two-sided zipper. How would I do that? I might have to add that later. I know I have some zippers, but all the zippers I have are either really long or really bulky, like sport zippers. You probably want to get like maybe a sport zipper, but a different color, somewhere between green and brown. Yeah. All right, so we have this part of the body all figured out. Caterpillar to cocoon. Now we need a butterfly. So I guess the first part is really the body of the butterfly because it needs to be able to encompass all of this. Whatever size the butterfly body is has to fit all of this inside of it and be able to flip that way. So, well, it's going to be this way, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Like so. And then it'll be open on one end. So just like kind of roll it in there with the little end cap. So thankfully this doesn't need an opening on one side. Let's see. It pretty much needs a whole sheet of felt then, doesn't it? Almost. That's going to be a big butterfly. Okay. Big butterfly. Can I make it any smaller? A little bit smaller. I can make it like an inch smaller. All right, I'm gonna do it. It might be a little finagly, but I'm not expecting this to be the sort of thing that like kids need to be able to operate. I'm sure they'll figure it out anyway, but really this is like for teaching. Okay. And then I'm going to stitch that together. Here we go. The butterfly body is really just going to be like a straight tube. And if I add any like extra styling to that or whatever, it'll be like embroidered on or like Sharpie or just like simple felt something. Like I don't need to shape it at all. Yeah, bigger. Because it feels like you're looking through a spyglass the whole time. Bigger is better for kids. It's more fun, more silly. Okay. And then one end of this needs to be shaped into sort of round. So I'm going to stitch this in just a little bit and then turn it the other way and stitch that the rest of the way closed. That's true. See it all the way from the back. Let's see, other side. All right, so you can see this first curve that I've done, like that to kind of bring it in. Hopefully that focuses enough that you can see. I know the material is very dark, but then I am going to flip it the other way and stitch a curve across that as well. And lay these sides down flat. Actually, you know what? I'm going to trim them first. The name of the game is minimizing the bulk for now. So you can see that's about how much I trimmed off. It's a generous 1/8 of an inch is the smallest that I'm really comfortable with when working with felt. I haven't had any issues with that. If you go any thinner, yeah, it doesn't really work. So, okay, and then I'm going to stitch up the other side. And there's the second pass. Give it a minute. Gonna trim those up too, just a bit, like that. And flip it inside out. I brought over, yeah, there it is. Letter openers are really handy for flipping things inside out like this. Yeah, so, okay. I can't fit my hand inside of here. I mean, I can, but it's definitely not comfortable. And it's like the monkey fist test, you know, like if you, sorry, I've got a cat outside my window now, like on the stoop of my roof. That's so funny. Okay. Focus. What was I saying? I can't fit it in there comfortably. Like a monkey trying to get a ball out of a jar, but if you make a fist, you can't get your hand back out. You have to let go and like turn it. Anyway, it's only semi-related. I'm going to have to tack something to the end of this to be able to flip it inside out, like so. So here is the body of the butterfly. there's the end of it, you can see. That's like the rounded shape that we got. And then this guy is gonna stuff right in there. Okay, so it's fitting pretty comfortably. Like I didn't have to force it, shove it in there or anything, but there isn't a whole lot of wiggle room. And it's, you know, felt is kind of grippy on itself. So I'm thinking I might restitch this again out of a fresh sheet of felt just to make it even bigger. However, another part of this is that this has to go inside here when it's flipped the other way, and all of that goes inside the cocoon, plus wings. Don't forget. This is madness. Okay. That still has room for wings. The cocoon side, that's looking pretty good. Okay, but if I flip it inside out, plus wings, yeah, that's fine. And the cocoon to caterpillar transformation is easy because it's nice and wide and you can just hold both ends like a canoe, like a boat, and just flip it inside out both ways. So that part is really easy. The butterfly part is the tricky part. It's also the most incredible and mesmerizing, like turning a caterpillar into a butterfly. It just suddenly has wings. Like, whoa, nature. I love butterflies. They're so pretty. It's gonna have to be bigger. Well, let's do a test. I'll get a safety pin. And where are the tiny ones? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll get a safety pin and connect the two. And I'll get a ribbon. And we'll see. We'll see if it actually works. Okay. So I am going to tie you in a special knot and connect these. So I want this end here. You need to be inside. How does this go again? This is getting tricky to keep track of all of the moving parts. This is funny. Okay. Flip you inside out again so that I can connect this all the way down to the bottom there. I'm going to take my safety pin and ribbon, and I am connecting the bottom point of the butterfly to the end cap of the cocoon. And then this flips inside out again over the top of that. This is the easy side, so we'll start there. Okay, like so. And then the idea would be, like, this would be the antenna or antennae or whatever. I'll just make them long enough that you can like feel them and get that out. And then this should help, hopefully without ripping the felt, to turn it inside out. Are you going to cooperate? Maybe. Is it going to work? I don't think it's going to work, you guys. I don't know. Okay, it definitely helps to make that endpoint accessible and to know that you have the right point of contact to really flip it. So it does help. It definitely helps. But I don't know if that kind of mechanism is going to be strong enough to flip the whole thing. Okay, and the caterpillar and the cocoon are getting all wonky, so they're not really wanting to stay put. And then you really have to force it out the other way. Okay. Boom, wings. And there's the string that was at the bottom that pulled that part out. I'm not convinced. Clearly it's possible. We just did it, but I'm not convinced that this is really working the way that I want it to yet. So I'm going to find another piece of felt. Oh no. This whole time, everything has gone so smoothly with all of the colors that I have more felt of. And then the butterfly body, lo and behold, this is the one that I don't have extra for. It's fine. This is fine. We got this. Okay, I am, this is how much extra we have. And I still need to make antennae. Let's see. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? The good news is that in terms of teaching and so on, once you get to the butterfly, you don't have to flip it the other way and get it all wrestled in there in front of a class anymore. You can do that after hours at your desk, just like, you know, like a butterfly stress ball for the day. Okay. Oh no, it's on the other side. Okay, hold on. I'm going to disconnect this so that we can work on the butterfly body. What do you think? Anybody have ideas? How do we fix this? Definitely open to suggestions. Okay. If I stitch this part back in there, it gives us a little more room, but not a lot. Also, I did notice that the length of the caterpillar and the cocoon and so on, like the body of the butterfly is a little longer. So that little cap at the end doesn't have to meet all the way up with the rest of it, if that makes sense. So I could add a little more, like a tapered portion to just the top side of this, and then still have enough for some antennae, and that should be good. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. And it also occurs to me that the antennae, if I'm going to be using those to help pull the butterfly transformation out, they probably need to be sturdier than just strips of felt. They at least need to be tubes, you know, so that it's doubled up and it has that thread running through it to help keep it really sturdy. So I might need to make the antennae out of something else. Like I could sew ribbon around some wire or something, maybe. I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute. For now, I am going to pick that seam down a little bit so that I can fit a portion of this in there again. It's funny, I did say earlier, you got to be careful trimming the excess without thinking about it, because it's so much easier to take away than it is to add it back in. And here I am ripping a seam. It's all right. Seam ripping is like the first thing you learn in sewing, right? So by the time you start doing crazy things like transforming caterpillars, it's like no big deal. I did a ton of seam ripping with some jeans to get all the pockets off and turned them into bean bags. this was a ton of seam ripping for these guys. Like that was intense. that was a workout, just like seam ripping denim. Hours and hours of seam ripping. It was fun. I've got a stack of jean pockets now, and I've been cutting up old straws for filler. Like that's what's in here. I just saved a bunch of straws and cut them up, and yeah. Yeah, string will definitely be way stronger than felt for sure. Got an open safety pin here. Put you back in my needle book. And you, okay, so if I don't need this for the antennae, I can use the whole thing to beef up the size of the butterfly body. So what I'm going to do is cut this in half, stitch the two together to make it wider, and then I'm going to stitch that into the butterfly body and just taper it down at the bottom so that the top of the butterfly will be tapered just like the cocoon is. So I'll stitch this together here first. And then I'll stitch it into the rest of the body. So got to make sure I turn it inside out again first. So all the stitches end up on the same side. And I'm going to stitch one side first. And okay, I picked the seam further down than I needed to. This is super dark, I know. The seam is open all the way down to here, but this extra piece now doesn't go down quite that far. So I'm stitching both sides of this on straight, and then I'll come back the other way, turn it around, and stitch this back down, pulling the excess of the additional panel out so that it will create that tapered edge naturally. So line up one side first. I'm trying to do a smaller seam allowance on this since there's only so much material to work with. At this point, however this turns out for the butterfly body, we're just stuck with it. So hopefully this works. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood again. Let's see. I'll get you on there. Okay. And again, you can see there's that little hole where it came out. I am going to pull the excess up and away, and I'm going to stitch across this and then create the taper by stitching into those additional panels. So it'll just kind of be across like that. Lots of layers here. And I'm definitely doubling up right at that meeting point, because if any stress is put on that, that's the most likely place for it to pop. So I want that extra strong. And then right across. So it looks like that. You can see that kind of taper, and then I'm going to trim that up. And flip this inside out again. Definitely much easier to fit a hand in there now. And I don't have the smallest hands ever. They're pretty muscly from crafting and playing the piano and all kinds of things, like good beefy hands. Not really. They're just, I don't know. They're not small. I'll say that. And that is definitely working better. I mean, there's more room. And then we can kind of stretch this bit of felt here just a little. It's kind of like a sock puppet, like wah, wah, wah. It's actually an interesting idea to make one of these out of a sock, like a transforming butterfly sock thing. That could be a fun activity for the kids. Okay. Yeah, this will work. It's good. This is all going to live in there. That slides in much more easily, and it'll be tacked in there, so that'll work. Yeah, way easier. Way easier to get that in there now. Okay, so I think a bit of elastic might be warranted. I could be crazy. But for this opening to not just be like a wacky, you see this, like the butterfly body, but it's going to be, I don't know. I think it looks super weird if it's just this big old opening for like the head of the butterfly. It's fine, but not ideal. So I think I'm going to put some elastic in there. So this part, this needs to be tacked together. And then where these two meet, I'll encase some elastic right there so that it'll help to keep it closed, but it still stretches to open up and let everything pass through, no problem. Okay, yeah. All right, so tack the two ends together. Should probably hand stitch that. I don't know how I'm going to get the sewing machine in there comfortably. And then antennae to help pull it out. You know what? That doesn't make any sense anymore now that I think of it. It's probably just going to have to be a pull string in there, because the top of the cocoon and the top of the butterfly mirror each other, that cone shape, right? And if this is the top of the butterfly, these are the antennae sticking out the top, but the point where I need help pulling is at the bottom. So that's going to be a totally different string. And I guess in that case, it doesn't really matter what color it is. Like maybe I'll make it blue or white, so it's just like the sky or a cloud or something. So a ribbon, I am just going to pick one. Let's see, what kind of colors do we have here? We've got elastic, no problem. Probably use some of that one. Here's a white ribbon that could work. Pretty blue. Oh, there's the elastic we need. And I think it might have to be that one. I have a tiny bit of rainbow ribbon. It's literally just like, that's it. This could be like a tab on the end of it to pull it out. That would be kind of fun. I don't know. Oh, that's the same ribbon. Okay. Well, I guess it'll have to be that one then. Could be maybe. Ooh, this is semi-transparent. Like you can see through it a little bit, maybe. Yeah, let's use this. That'll be good. And then I'll put the little rainbow tab at the end of it, and that can be the pull string. Voila. Why not? Okay, we're doing it. So there's the pull string. Not using this white ribbon. Got my elastic. I'm not going to worry about the button closure or the zipper or anything just yet, because I'm probably going to need to get a zipper specifically for this. If I'm going to be putting fancy closures and things on there, I want to make sure it really works. So I will do that separately. Okay, so here's our ribbon, and it is conveniently exactly as long as it should be. Here is the ribbon. Different scissors, I want the good ones. Here we go. Nice, clean edge. Okay. And the edge of the ribbon, that's what's nice. There we go. And I'm just going to tuck in these sides and stitch the two right together. But, you know, I think I'm going to roll the edge of the ribbon just to make sure it doesn't fray and come right off when you pull it, because it really needs to sustain a decent amount of force for ribbon. So I'm putting these two together first and stitching them, and then I will flip it the other way around and stitch it to the rest of the loop as well. Let's see. Okay, Miki's saying pull string can be the same if you seam it lengthwise from the tip to the opening. What do you mean? Like, I think I'm following you, but I'm not sure. Seam it lengthwise from the tip to the opening. Okay. All right, so these are connected now. And then I'm folding this up, but I want to make sure that the rainbow side is the one that's tucked in right there instead of going down so that the sheer ribbon is turned. And then I'm going to fold the other end the same amount, overlap them, and stitch that into place as well. So it's double seamed. Make sure to hold that all in place. I'm going to use my seam ripper as a little feeder and get that in the right place. Okay. Okay. Test that out. Nope. Fail. Utter fail. This ribbon is not going to be strong enough to withstand that ripped right out. That's really funny. Okay. All right. So you're out. I'm not liking any of those. Gotta be sturdy. Super sturdy. Ooh. Oh, I got some growth grain ribbon. That should be better. Okay. Seam ripper. Okay, well, so much for that idea. Live and learn. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in there. I really stitched that tight. Like triple stitched it. Back stitched. And then came back again. And then back stitched again. Back stitched like that stitch crazy. Ha ha. Okay. Oh, we'll get this. We will. No. Screw it. All right, I'm cutting this off. Decision made. Too late now. Okay. Cross grain ribbon. Same process. Try this again. Whoop. Okay. Here we go. And the other side. Okay, this time I'm going to go ahead and let gauze grain ribbon be the one that's folded down so that it is doubled through. Because come to think of it, last time, the one that's getting the bulk of the force put on it was folded the other way. And that's probably part of why it ripped right through. So tuck that all in. Pull you up here. Ready? Please hold. Come here. Yeah, no, that's sturdy. We did it. That's not going anywhere. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that is strong. Most definitely. Okay. Right. Get you here. Cool. Okay, so here's our pull string. And this is going to have to pull the butterfly out. All right, so here we go. Looking at mechanics of this thing again. When the butterfly is inside, this is inside out, in between the cocoon and the caterpillar. And then this string needs to be on the inside of that and pull it out. So, okay, yeah. So this needs to be stitched right here at the end of the outer, like the right side of the butterfly is where this needs to be attached. So get this part here. How long do we want this? I want it tucked just inside right there, but not too far beyond that. And then I am going to, again, make sure this is really sturdy. So I'm going to trim this, fold the ribbon under, and then stitch directly across this behind that bottom seam so that the extra threads of the seam will hold it a little better than it would in just strictly the felt. So get that all lined up right at the center of the base of this here. And I'm going to stitch it in place. I need to sharpen my little trimmer at the back of my sewing machine, but okay. This is making me nervous. I don't want it to rip through, but I know I need to test to see if it's going to. That's sturdy. Okay, that's good. That'll do it. All right. Now, this part also gets attached to the inside of the cocoon. And that's the part that I was saying I need to do manually, like hand stitching. And so I'm going to flip this inside out just halfway so that I can fit my hand inside. And I'm going to stitch that bit to this bit. So this is inside out, that's inside out, and I am attaching them right there so that when you pull on the string, it brings the cocoon with it to flip inside out. So we need sewing needle. I'll do just like a medium, like you can see this, haha, but I'm going to show you anyway. Just like a medium embroidery needle and some embroidery thread. And we get to choose a color now that may actually coordinate. Is, nope, not in there. It must be here. Okay. So a nice in-between brown, like probably that one. Maybe this one. Nah. I'm going with the first one. It's a good one. We'll make it simple. All right. Should I split it into 3 or keep all 6? I think I'm going to keep all 6. Okay. If I can thread it. We'll see. Do you guys lick your strings, like wet them to keep them all together when you're threading? I've heard that's a bad practice, but I can't really find good information on why. I guess it's not the most sanitary thing in the world, but like how else do you get all your strings to hold still? I guess like thread wax, right? Maybe. I did see one thing about like really fancy high-end embroidery where you have very fine needles and the holes, like the eyes of the needle are very, very, very tiny. And someone made the argument that saliva and things could get trapped in there and then it would rust the needle and then you wouldn't be able to use it anymore. That's the best thing I can find. I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. But anyway. Okay. Loose tail. I'm not tying anything yet. I am going to just loop right through this one end, not pull it all the way through, but pull it past where my excess tail is. And then I am going to loop through this and I am going to stitch straight through where I made the ribbon attachment because the ribbon will again help to really keep it sturdy. So pass through that. The table doubles as a nice thimble if you're not wearing one. Yeah, totally worth the risk for the convenience. Like, who has time to specifically use thread wax? Like, really? I don't know. I guess if you get really into embroidery and you have like really expensive needles, maybe that would come into play a little more, but I don't know. It seems pretty weird to me. Okay, so I have both of these threaded up on full 6-string embroidery thread. I know that's where I want the main points to be. And now I'm going to tie this thread to itself and just create a knot and get those nice and tight right there together. Square knot. Has to be a square knot. You don't need to triple it up or anything. Just make sure it's a good square knot. So you go over one way the first time, and then with the new threads, pretend like same ones, go over the other way. It took me the longest time to honestly figure that out. I mean, really, like took forever. I got it in theory and I saw the diagrams, but when you go to do it, it's like muscle memory. So I kept going like looping over the same way. Anyway, needles are cheap. What kind of stuff do you embroider? Like pictures or words or cross stitch, or like what kind of stuff are you into? Okay, so the bottom of the butterfly body has that reinforcement that makes me feel a little more confident it's not going to rip, but the bottom of the cocoon does not have that, and that makes me a little bit nervous. So it may break through. If it does, I'll have to reinforce it with something and maybe a button. Hopefully not, I don't know. But we'll see. All right, I'm going to finish stitching this together then. Stitch it up over here, go through the butterfly again. Table thimble. And through the cocoon again. And I'm crossing my stitches like a button, like you would typically sew on a button, so that it distributes the stress of the stitches a little better. Because again, I am a little worried that the felt might snap. And then I am going to tie the string to that original tail again to secure it, and just keep it simple. But you gotta hold still so I can do that. Come here. There you go. Trim it, stash it, and we're good. Okay. This is where it starts getting interesting. This is so wild. Okay. So when everything is stuffed in there together, here's the top of the butterfly that is stashed between, and oh, you can see it now. Those are connected. You see that end, and then here's the rainbow string, right? If I pull on, here, I'll tuck this so you can see it. If I pull on the rainbow, it pulls it all together. Sorry, I keep checking my screen again. I'm still getting used to staying on screen, so I want to make sure when I'm showing you something, you can actually see it. But yeah, okay. So it's not a big deal to have to use your hands to prompt that to turn the right way. And then you have the string to use both at the same time and flip it. Is it going to go? Are you going to go? Also, the top of this will be connected by that elastic. Right now it's getting squished separately, which is why it's bunching. I can tell it's like kind of jammed in there. But when they're connected, you'll be able to hold both of those at the same time and this. So now that I have both of them in my hand, okay, yes. Ha-ha! Butterfly in the sky. I could get twice as high. Okay. It's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. I'm freaking out inside a little bit. It's working. This is so awesome. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So elastic. Elastic for the top of this. Oh, yes. It's working. Can't believe it's working. This is so good. Cocoon, cocoon, cocoon. Everything. All of it. Mostly animals. Mostly dogs. Animals, maybe. Maybe. Okay, so stuff the caterpillar down. Line these up. Okay, hold on a second. Before I stitch this together, got to make sure that there's room for the wings in there, right? Because it's working right now, but with the extra bulk of the wings, who knows? Okay, also, am I going to need 2 pull strings so that when you go to flip it the other way from the cocoon, that still works? Yeah, apparently not, because you can fit your hand in there. And with the caterpillar out of the way, that's like no big deal at all. You can make sure the wings get in there and everything, and then it's fine. And then all of that stuffs up inside the caterpillar. Okay, so caterpillar, ready? Cocoon. Inside the elastic, you have the rainbow. This will all be connected, so I'm going to prompt it to start turning that way, and then stuff it and pull it. Ta-da! Okay, it might be a little tricky getting it all to come out with the wings and everything as well, but I think we can do it. Now, to attach the wings, do I need to do anything else inside this before I attach the wings, or you know what? I am going to wait. I did it. This is the basic mechanics of it, right? Like it's all there. I want to see it working with the wings, but we got it this far. It works. Double transformation. And the tail is kind of funny. Like I love it. I love rainbows. Go gaga for rainbows every time. Okay. All right. Trimming threads. Okay, I'm going to wait to stitch the elastic until I've done the wings, just to make sure that I can fit them in there to know what kind of bulk we can really get away with. I feel like I'm getting away with something. Like that lesson about physics and matter, like 2 physical things cannot be in the same place at the same time. Like they have to implode or something, and like, ha. That's a joke. Okay. Monarch, or, you know, if we go with one of the lighter styles or like a blue butterfly or something, then it doesn't need as many layers anyway. Like I can just draw right on the felt and create a simple wing kind of structure to it or something. instead of layering up, my original idea was to have black felt layered with orange pieces and white pieces. And oh, got ahead of myself. Turn that off for a minute. I'm glad I remembered, but now I lost my train of thought. Wings. Yeah, the original idea basically has double layered wings, which is probably not the best route to go. So maybe lighter colors, like I have, well, scraps of blue anyway. That's another idea too, actually. As long as everything is single pieces, I could like kind of quilt them together, and there will be that funny texture on one side, but that's not a big deal. And then those extra seams would add some structure so that they stand up a little more, and I could even add like some natural curve to them and stuff. I think I'm going to do that. We'll just do a fantastical butterfly. It doesn't have to look like a real one. Did I show you guys this I think I did. I can't remember, but I'll show you again. This is from the Butterfly Conservatorium here, Butterfly Wonderland in Arizona. And it's just part of their manual. Lots and lots and lots of ideas for butterflies and different shapes. And the monarch is my favorite right there. I always come back to that one. But I also really like the Morphopallades, this pretty fancy blue one right there. So, I don't know. We'll go with fantastical. Why not? So we got some light blue. Done with this for now. We got maybe some purple, maybe, I don't know. Yellow, orange. There's already green in the caterpillar. There's already a dark color in the body. Here's some like lilac purple, maybe some yellow, some white, or like a cream color is probably good. I'm liking that palette so far. I think that's pretty good. Got a different color of purple here. Yeah. Yet another shade of purple. I don't like that. Never mind. I guess we could always put bright pink in it. I tend not to put pink in things. It just hasn't been one of my favorite colors, I guess. I don't know. It's a perfectly good color. Bright, bright, bright orangey red. Color, 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 color everywhere. Maybe some of this. I'm gonna move my needle book out of the way. Have I shown you this? I don't think I did. My needle book. It's literally a book. And it is also made out of felt. So it's like just like this, and then pages and pages of needles. I haven't finished stitching it. I want to embroider the edges and like literally put needle book written on the cover. But this is the main structure of it. Like I just cut out the pages and then stitched them straight on. And then here's another seam and then flip it over another seam, you know, so you can kind of see where all those seams are. And then it just goes inside another cover. And I haven't stitched up the rest of it, but I love this. I had a needle book recommended to me as a general way of storing needles for a long time, and I just never bothered to do it. And then I finally actually made one. And ever since then, I'm just like, how did I do anything else? Like, where did I even store my needles before then? I have no idea. So, rambling. All right, color palette. Making a butterfly. I like the purples and blues. That's kind of cool. A little bit of yellow in there I'm not so sure about. I don't think I like that one. Maybe a different yellow. Should we go brighter or softer? What do you think? You have a needle book. What does your needle book look like? Now I'm curious. Like there's so many different styles. Definitely one of those things on Pinterest that I went crazy over for a while, like looking at needle books, and so much inspiration. Like a lot of people combine them with like a stitch sampler, you know, like their needle book is the stitch sampler and then they just keep their needles in it on top of all of the samples and so on. And I thought that was really cool. I'm not digging the dark purple. We'll ditch that one. Like this blue and that blue. I think maybe I'll get rid of that. Something like that. What do you think of this? Warmer yellow? Oh, is the needle book similar but a warmer yellow? Or yellow in the butterfly-ness? I'm not really sure which one you're referring to. I have this like golden ochre color. Ochre. Let's see. Maybe like butterfly wings like that, or this in between. Cool. Warmer like that, like just a little bit warmer so it isn't so bright and poppy, but it still like has that little bit of yellow maybe. I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't go. Okay. Totally right there. Oh, that's the same color yellow. Okay, do I have any others? I have this peach color. Could substitute altogether. I kind of like the yellow better. It could be like just tiny bits, like little accents, right? Yeah. Let's just do this one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Little bits of yellow. Okay. So yeah, yellow for sure. I think there's a bit of a delay to the comments, and that's what makes it tricky to know which thing you're referring to, but I can kind of guess, and it's actually kind of fun to see if I got it right or not. It's funny to me. Anyway. Okay, so if I'm going to be stitching these things together, these are the colors that I have the most of. And then bits of blue and the yellow, little bits of yellow. So I'll figure out where the yellow goes last. Okay, stitching and hot gluing extra accents on top is probably how I'll add the yellow. So for now, I'm just going to worry about the main panels of color. So I think if purple is like the main outline and then white in between purple and blue, that'll really accent those colors really well. Or I could do kind of like a fan sort of thing, just like a loose representation, but like this, so that the colors are like fanned together, and then maybe stitch a border around that, or just leave it as is. I think. Fan, yeah. That's convenient because that you like it that way, because that would definitely be the easiest way to go. So we'll just do that. I'm all for easy. It's going to look awesome anyway. Okay. All right. I am going to pull up the sketchboard again. Let me see this. Okay. So we've got, oh, I put this on backward. I'm just going to rip you off. Okay. Give me the board. I'll take it. I use this on the board most of the time, but right now it's actually convenient to do it without, which is not typically the case. So that's cool. All right. So these are the colors. Set those up for inspiration. We've got the yellow and the purple and the other purple, and there's only one purple. Hold on. And the blue and the blue. And some white. We'll just have to remember that. Okay. So if the shape of it goes kind of out like this, like most butterflies kind of have that like point at the top, at least the iconic butterflies that I always think of. And then the bottoms are kind of rounder like that. So it would be like I want these points here, like if that's one panel piece, and this can be purple. And then above that can be the lighter blue. So then this would be another panel. And there's another panel. And maybe just a little bit of the darker blue, like that. Yeah. How much of this do I have? The lighter blue. Okay, so probably can't really do much more than just those panels. Got to remember how much of these I have. So darker blue again at the bottom. And then this can be a bigger one to just fill in the whole rest of that at the bottom. And then at the base, the main portion in the middle can be this same darker, like tealy blue, like that, and give it an accent of the lighter blue on top of that again. And purple. And if there's, yeah, there's definitely enough of the purple. So I'll do another one over here to really fill that in. And then the yellow can just be like an accent here. Maybe doubled. I don't know. Big one, little ones, maybe like a teardrop shape just to mix it up. I really like the teardrop shape at the middle. I think I'm going to turn these into teardrops. And I'm not going to do those ones because I don't like it. Instead, I'll put a little dot over on the sides and make this one the teardrop. So that kind of looks the same as it did before, but different. Same, but different. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like that. All right. Teardrop. Okay. To give you a better view of this, before we carry on. So that's what we're going with right there. Teardrop shapes all the way around just to create panels. And then I'm going to be putting together with the teardrops and so on. So let's see. It's my son's teacher communicating with me about a couple things. That's why I'm sorry. Don't mean to be checking my phone mid live stream. I know. Okay. All right. So we've got that all figured out. I am going to cut these pieces out, stacked up simultaneously with the rotary cutter so that I know I'm getting the same cuts. Tempting to use the scissors, but I am going to have to cut this off in another probably 20 to 30 minutes. And whatever we don't get done today, I'll be back on Friday to finish it up. I promise I won't touch it until then so that you can see the rest of how it comes together. We'll just get as far as we can right now. Okay, let's see. So how am I going to do this with the, I need to get the picture up where I can see it better. So I'm going to pull this up. Here we go. Set you right there. Okay. Here we go. So the first part is the longer points that are the top. And I think the size of about half a sheet of felt is probably pretty perfect for a butterfly. Like you can picture roughly like that, you know, like that's probably pretty decent, especially once the elastic is on the top portion. That's probably about all the felt that I can really stuff in this thing and still get away with it. There's a little bit of leeway, not a whole lot. So lining this up, not cut, but fold it in half. And then I really only need half of this, so I'm going to fold it and keep it right there. And I didn't end up using any of the white, actually, which I am totally fine with. We got purple and blues and yellows. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll be good. Okay. So, like this. Okay. Seam allowance is another part of this. Definitely need to remember to keep the seam allowances. Tight corners there. Okay, and I'm giving each of these teardrop panels much more length toward the bottom than I actually need, so that once I get them all put together and lined up where I want them, then I can go in and cut it. There I go, waving around an open rotary cutter again. Don't do that. Pro tip, use the safety. Okay, so that I can go in and cut it straight after the fact at the angle that I want, because I'm not exactly sure how that angle is going to work out yet. So there are two pieces here. Can open that up to see. Pull this up for you. And then there's a little one at the bottom and another one at the other side. Okay. Okay. So make sure I have my edges lined up again. That is going to have a curve to it, so that'll line up nicely already. And then tight curves. I need to get a smaller rotary cutter. Okay. This piece will have to be cut off of that. Okay, there's the bottom. The very bottom of the pieces. Flip the other way. Right? Oh, there we go. Okay. Like that. I'll go ahead and just put these on. So it'll be like that and like that. And then one more of these little teardrops. This one, probably just a little bit of that curve. And put you out. I made that one bigger than originally sketched, but that's fine. It'll probably end up like that anyway. Okay, so there's the purple. And yellow we're doing last. Blue. Oh, please let there be enough blue. Okay. What if I go like that so that they can be longer and these ones are shorter? Is that going to work? I don't think that's going to work. Okay, we'll just do it normal. Okay. So these portions here, it's going to line up with this and then come together into the other side. So get that first cut and then straight down. Start my cut there. I'm going to fold these back up and use the scissors to get a nice cut straight up the center. Okay, so there's that portion. And it looks a little funny now, like being, again, convex or concave? Concave. But once they're sewn together, it'll have that curve to it so that the leaves, the petals, wings, butterfly wings, good grief words. Okay, will come together right there. All right, now the other one that I need out of this lighter blue is this piece here. So that's going to come up on there. And it is not quite the full edge piece, but I do want to put lots of curve into that. You are scooching, little stinker. I'm not going to get a clean cut if you move on me. There we go. And like that. So that that purple bit really stands out. So those two will be connected right there. You can see. Okay. That goes there. Now, last pieces we need is this nice teal. Oh, not the last. I spoke too soon. We're also going to be cutting out some teardrops and circles out of yellow. But this, oh no, it was a shadow. Okay, I'm like, does this have a big stain on it? No. Okay. The biggest portion of this one is between these two here. So I am going to kind of get a sense of that shape right on top of it here so I can see. The bottom portion, I want to really have that rounded shape to it, whereas the top portion, I kind of want them to be more staggered so that you really see the shaping of that and everything. So I'm lining up the bottom pieces a lot more than the top to make sure that that really comes together where I want it. This can be, yeah, about like that. Okay, and then you'll come in here and you'll come in right there. And you go all the way up to here. Okay, so I've got that marked out. Now again, in order, one of these days I'll get the hang of not waving around an open rotary cutter. Maybe after I slice my nose or something. Okay, so on these pieces, I want to cut them a little concave again so that it will have the convex, concave shaping. Words of the day, we got two this time. Concave and convex. Okay, like so. So you see it kind of tapers in and then comes back out just a little bit, like slightly at the end. But the tiniest changes in your pattern pieces make a big difference when you're actually stitching them. The slightest curve and change really affects the, the shape of it, you know. Okay, a couple more of these. So we've got this piece we'll cut out here. Get you all the way down to the point. Good, good, good. And that needs to be really bulbousy at the top and then taper sharply. So I'm actually going to pull these off to the side here and do it this way. Okay, so taper sharply and then into a big top. Probably bigger than that, but this will do. Okay. Yeah. So you can see if I can hold all these pieces at the same time. Oh, here, I'll tell you what, we'll do this. Felt sticks to felt really well. So if I stick these all together, then you can see them. Ha-ha. Brilliant. Okay, so there's going to be one more piece underneath this one that'll be nice and round to fill in the rest of that top portion. And then the main pieces are cut and we'll just do the yellow accents. Oh yeah, okay. Get a nice piece I've been cutting these at weird angles because there was a big chunk taken out of it. So I got to make sure wherever I'm cutting, I'm actually getting the full size of it. Here we go. You here and you there. Very nice. And move you down so that we can get a nice round. There we go. Like that. So that bottom piece is nice and big. Okay. So there are all of those pieces. And then we need yellow accents. Okay, so here's the original design again. We've got all of the basic teardrop shapes cut out, and now I'm doing the yellow accents and circles and things. Thank you. This is definitely not the butterfly I thought I was sewing, so I'm glad you like it. It's coming together. The colors are really fun. Yeah. Welcome back for a little bit. I'm glad you're liking it. Hey. We might even finish this today. I don't know. I got sucked into the focus of cutting pieces for a minute. It's like meditative. I don't know. Okay, switching to scissors and referencing both the sketch and the actual pieces I cut out to make sure the sizes come out properly. Let's see. We'll do those tiny little yellow pieces first. Tiny circles. Like that. Yeah. Okay. And then teardrops. The ones on top are bigger than the ones on bottom. The bottom portion of the wings. I bet those have very technical terms as well. Like every little part and piece of a butterfly wing, you know? Like it probably has very specific terminologies. They usually do. Any field of study ends up with a ton of, you know, esoteric jargon. Sometimes I learn weird terms for things, stuff that I do all the time that I never even knew it had a term. Like when you're sketching fashion designs and things like that, like for clothing, if you create a stencil or a template of a body form and then place that underneath your sketch paper to draw the fashion sketch on top of it, that's called a croquis. It's a French word. It's like CROQUIS. I think a croquis. And I've been using those forever. Like as long as I've been sketching clothes and things to sew, I've been using a croquis underneath my sketches so that they all look the same and I can compare and contrast and remember a little better what I meant when I sketched that, you know, because sometimes when time passes, you learn like, okay, this isn't really legible anymore. And it goes for more than just handwriting, but yeah, croquis. Weird things you learn. It's kind of fun. Seeing this on the felt, and maybe the bottom will help balance it out, but seeing it on the felt so far, I'm not sure I like where that's going. It's the butterfly you were picturing, huh? Well, that's cool. Maybe you were like sending me visions of butterflies. We're working it out. That's funny. Okay, another teardrop and a bigger circle. The bigger circle will help balance it out. I think that's why I did it that way, huh? Okay. All right, so bigger circle, not that big. We'll rein it in. Okay. Bigger circle. Circle. There we go. Circles are round. That's Let's just trim that up and pretend it was on purpose. Never mind. You saw nothing. This is a circle. Haha. Okay. Now it's a circle. I mean, it's a little bit jaggedy, but it's a circle now. That was not a circle before. Okay. Yeah. Like that. And then a tiny teardrop. This is kind of cool. You can see, like, if I slip this over here, slip it all up there. You can kind of see how it came together. The wings are bigger than I thought they'd be. Here I am showing you like a sheet of felt, like they'll be about that big and then bigger. That's fine. I guess if we need to trim them down a little bit, that is a possibility. Like we can do that. We can manage trimming down. That's fine. Corky? Is it corky? Croaky? Corky? I don't know. I'll have to look that up now. Corky, croaky. I don't know. Gosh, I really have no idea now. You got me wondering. Corky, croaky. Which was it? Yep, good reminder, Mikio. Bigger is better for now. You remember the butterfly body? And I made that too small, and then we had to make it bigger again. Okay, and that little guy there. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. This is balanced. This is good. Okay, clear some space here. My multiplicitous trimming tools. Can never have too many scissors. If you're a crafter, if you do some kind of art, you know you can never have too many scissors. Okay, at this point, I need to be aware of the direction that I'm stitching them to make sure that all of the stitches end up on the same side. So I'm going to split these up like so. And I actually want you facing the other way. That's better. And get you over here and you over here. And then these guys. Oh man. Okay. Over here and over here. More small dots on the upper bottom panel. This one right here. Do we want to do more small dots on that? Like do 1, 2, 3 probably. I'm down for that. I think that sounds good. Yeah. Let's do it. Assuming that's what you mean. Let me know if it's not. I'm going to start cutting out little dots. Okay. Here we go. Little dots. Circle, circle, circles. What is it about circles that is so tricky? They're everywhere in nature. But then you go to try to trim one and it's like, what? What am I doing? Ovals are so much easier because it can go all kinds of wonky ways and it doesn't really matter. So I usually cut my circles bigger than I need and then trim and trim and trim until it like circles. It circleifies. Circleifies with trimmage. Okay. Eee. Almost there. 3. Cool. We're on the same wavelength. Butterfly wavelength. Okay, that's a bigger circle than the first one. I think I want to trim it down so they're like the same size if possible. That sort of motif right there looks better to me. Okay. Yeah. Okay, one more circle to go. 2 more circles, but 1 more cutting and trimming because I'm doing them 2 at a time. There we go. Do I want to trim you down? I think I want to trim you down. I think I want you the same size. I think I already said that, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Come to think of it. All right, here we go. Trim, trim, trim and turn, trim and turn. And I've got all kinds of yellow fuzz all over my desk now. This is really funny. Like that, that's looking pretty good. Not perfect, but good. So we're moving on. And I am going to make this a little easier on myself and just cut out a chunk so that I can work with this and not worry about the bulk of the rest of it. Going around in circles. Circles, circles everywhere. Circles in her hair. I guess that'd be curls. With pieces this small, it's kind of funny. Like my thumb is blocking most of it. So I kind of have to like pass it back and forth sometimes to see if it's really looking the way I think it is. Okay, here we go. Is that, that's a little big. Just a wee bit. A wee bit bigger. Eee. Okay, can't go much further than that. I don't think it'll, yeah, don't want to start over here. Okay. These are definitely a little wonky. Super wonks. Okay. How's that? That's better. That's a passable circle. We'll take it. Okay. If you look really, really closely, they're actually like, what would it be? Decagons, like a whole step up from octagons. So we just won't look closely and it'll be fine. Pretend you're at the back of the class. Okay. Ha-ha. Yes. All right, now it's on a piece of paper now, so it's much slidier and, you know, perilous, but I'm going to try to pick it up and show you anyway. Just like that. Ah! I love it. I seriously love it. This is so much better than just a regular old monarch. It's like super magic butterfly. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think this is a pretty good stopping point for now. Good cliffhanger. So on Friday, we can get together and stitch up the wings and see them take shape and take flight and attach them to the butterfly body. And I will see if I can find that zipper and the antennae material, something kind of a cord. I have stuff in my craft supplies that I could use, but nothing that's really jumping out at me as like, yes, that's the one. So I will address that and have it all ready, and I'll see you on Friday. So yeah, I want to see this thing like one more time though before I go. So we are just gonna stuff it in there and start over and see what happens. Okay. Oh my goodness, I love this. This was just an idea days ago, and now I'm holding it in my hands, and it's a real thing. Look, I love how that little rainbow tag sticks out. That's so funny. Look at that. Oh, once it's all stitched together, I'm not sure if that'll still stick out or not. I think it might, but anyway, that is really funny. Okay, so it starts as a caterpillar. It flips inside out to be a cocoon. And then when the butterfly is ready, it comes out. Well, elastic will definitely help with that part for sure. Pops out and boom, ta-da! It takes flight. It's going to be so good. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. All right. I really do need to go now. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me so that we can make this crazy harebrained contraption here. And I'm really excited to finish it on Friday. So I will see you there. Okay, what time on Friday? Answer some questions before I take off. Pencil case tab. It totally does. Oh, man. Same time Friday. So what time did we start today? I think it was 1:30. I think I was a little late. 1:45. 1:30, 2 o'clock. I will put out a quick video in the morning when I know for sure so that you will know. And then I'll see you then. So yeah, cool. 2 p.m. California time. Okay, cool. Very nice. All right. I'll see you then.